Chapter 31. As they continued forward, it didn't take long for them to find more scorpion monsters, but the ones they currently found themselves up against were different from the scorpions that Jana, Jair, and Breno defeated. These were red in color and were level 4. Okay, Nero and Choco can handle these two this time, Jair said suddenly. Okay, I'll take the one on the left, but let me attack first since I'm not used to using this. Nero took the bow from within her inventory and warned her companions. She was not confident with her aim when using the bow and wasn't sure if the same thing would happen that happened to the thief who was hit previously by her arrow. Yes, I will wait for you. Choco nodded. Nero concentrated and, channeling her mana, materialized an arrow made of black energy that looked quite like smoke from burnt tires. Whoosh, bang, the arrow was fired at a decent speed but did not hit the red scorpion. The almost 40 centimeters long red scorpion shifted sideways, looking like a crab. As it dodged the rain of stones the arrow flung up from the ground. This time it wasn't the same type of arrow as the one that hit the bandit. Pulling the short bow, Nero shot a second arrow. Whoosh, bang, once again red scorpion dodged, but this time it almost failed to dodge. TSK. Nero clicked her tongue and prepared to shoot a third arrow. When the bowstring was pulled to the limit, the arrow's speed was even faster. Whoosh. Bang. There. Nero celebrated by hitting two of the red scorpion's left legs. But even though the red scorpion slowed, it still managed to run with only 6 legs supporting it. With a mental command, Nero made her demonic acid slime crawl towards the red scorpion, and when she was close, demon slime used spit acid. Whoosh! This time the attack had no possible escape. In addition to hitting the red scorpion's left leg, the ground below was melted by the acid. Red Scorpion lost its balance and fell upside down, looking like an upturned turtle. Before it could get up, Nero approached very quickly and shot an arrow very close. Right at the Red Scorpion's head. You have defeated the insect monster, Red Scorpion, rank F, level 4, now, it's my turn. Choco ran towards the other Red Scorpion which was retreating. Brandishing her big red gloves, Choco jumped in the air while her aura began burning like flames. Choco's large red fist was quickly streaking towards the scorpion's head, sending shock waves flying through the air followed by a booming sonic explosion just as the red fist violently connected with the scorpion's head. Even though its head had already turned into pudding, the scorpion's instinctual reflexes launched a clawed attack in Choco's direction, but she was nimble and quickly dodged the attack. Should I try using my hunter card on this? Nero asked herself doubtfully. Wouldn't it be a waste? So far as I know, what I have in my body is superior. After some time of reflection, she decided not to use the hunter card. She only intended to use it on monsters less than level 4. Arriving in front of the red scorpion, Nero put her hand on top of the carcass, but she only held the hunter card and pretended to be using it as she used her system to collect the monster's materials. She was mindful to wait to finish almost at the same time as Choco. Would you like to loot the monster plant? Red Scorpion, rank F, level 4, yes, 1, rank F monster core, level 4, has been added to your inventory. 1. Red Scorpion Tail F medium quality, has been added to your inventory. 54 essence currency, have been added to your inventory. When Choco and Nero finished plundering the red scorpions, the two girls returned to the rest of the party. Shall we go? Nero asked. Yes. They agreed and continued walking cautiously. Although there were no human-made traps, there could still be some created by the monsters. The monsters' traps were crude and easy to notice, but if one was not careful, they could fall into one carelessly. Does this floor only have scorpions? Nero asked. After walking for a while, they spotted 5 other red scorpions, 6 if they counted one who appeared to be their dark red leader. Insect Fire Monster, Elite Red Scorpion, rank F, level 6, yes. Note that behind these scorpions there is a ladder. If we go up, there will be another type of monster, Jana said, pointing in the direction of a staircase made of stones. Nero and the rest stayed at a distance as they prepared and planned to attack the group of scorpions. Because they were at a considerable distance, the red scorpions did not come to attack them, but they continued to look in their direction. Alert, would it be okay for me to fight the leader while you guys deal with the others? Nero asked. She believed that this was the best option since she had the support of her 2 domesticated monsters. Yes. The rest agreed without much resistance. Thanks. Nero smiled and planned out her attack. She said, I will shoot my arrow first and try to separate them. Take this opportunity to attack the other red scorpions. Seeing they nodded, Nero once again pulled her bowstring and shot an arrow. Whoosh! The smoky arrow cut through the air and made the red scorpions flee from the impact, separating the scorpions into groups of no more than 2, just as Nero planned. Let's go! Choco let out a shrill cry and ran towards a pair of red scorpions. Jair, Breno, and Jana also took action and went to attack the other 3 red scorpions. Nero took command over her 2 monsters and also prepared herself. But this time, she shouldered her bow and took stones from her inventory, and as always, she pretended to take them from her hunter card, Queen's Throw. Whoosh! A blue aura enveloped the stone that was thrown. The speed of the stone was very fast, and the elite red scorpion didn't even have time to dodge and was hit through one of its red claws and also caught half of one of its hind legs, cutting the 2 off completely. Spit acid. Whoosh! The acid from the demonic acid slime caught very close to the head of the elite red scorpion, causing the scorpion to release strange sounds from its mouth. Luna, who was running very fast, positioned herself in front of the elite red scorpion and attacked. Fierce hit. After striking the elite red scorpion with her paw, Luna moved away very quickly, avoiding the poisonous tail that came from behind the large monster. Chapter 32. Nero's ability was still cooling, so she started throwing stones using only brute force with a little mana. Whoosh! 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 Holes formed in the dungeon floor, and after being hit twice on the head, the elite red scorpion died. You defeated the insect monster, Red Scorpion, rank F, level 6. Although surprised that Nero was able to defeat the leader of the red scorpions so quickly, the rest knew they had to kill their scorpions as well. Moving quickly, Choco, Jair, and Breno ran towards the red scorpions, while Jana prepared to support them. Nero sat on the floor to recover faster while watching them fight. Although she knew she was stronger and had more attack power than they each did, she lost to them in fighting experience. Watching them fight, she thought she might be able to learn a thing or two. Choco was the first to arrive in front of a red scorpion who was at level 5. Although injured, the scorpion responded very quickly, using its claws which looked like 2 scissors to attack in Choco's direction. Choco acted fast but did not advance. Instead, she twisted her body flexibly backward and then came back forward. She then launched a quick and powerful punch in the direction of the scorpion's left claw. Crackling could be heard as the red scorpion's claw cracked open, and the scorpion was thrown spinning like a top on the ground. Choco gave a cute little cry. Just before she jumped high, like a seagull diving into the sea, Choco extended her red fist towards the body of the red scorpion. A great deal of damage was done to the red scorpion's back, leaving behind a mark of her big fist. Using her other hand to support herself on the intact part of the scorpion, Choco jumped in the air and did a somersault backward. Green blood dripped from the red scorpion's back the moment Choco withdrew her hand. Choco landed on the floor and looked at the red scorpion that had stopped moving. Wiping the sweat off her forehead and taking a towel from her hunter card, she finished cleaning the pair of gloves as she smiled contentedly. On the other hand, Jair and Breno were still fighting the red scorpions in front of them while receiving support from Jana. Jana's fire arrows were enough to weaken the scorpions. Jair and Breno always used this opportunity to attack. A moment later, Jair finally managed to cut the head of one of the scorpions in half. He then went to help Breno and Choco, who were now fighting the remaining 3 red scorpions. Seeing that the fight was almost over, Nero approached the elite red scorpion. Looking in all directions, seeing that there was no imminent danger, she crouched down and placed her small white hands on the body of the elite red scorpion. Would you like to plunder the insect monster, Elite Red Scorpion, rank F, level 6? Yes, 1. Rank F Monster Core level 6 has been added to your inventory. 1. Scarlet Blood or rank F medium quality has been added to your inventory. 114 Essence Currency has been added to your inventory. Amazing! Nero exclaimed in her mind. That amount of coins is ridiculously large. A few minutes later, Choco and the rest finished killing the red scorpions and a holographic screen appeared in front of Nero. Mission complete. Magic gloves, 5 energy, 2 strength has been added to your inventory. 100 essence coins have been added to your inventory. Seeing that she managed to complete the mission, Nero had a silly smile as she looked at the holographic screen. Were you happy to clear the first floor, Nero? Choco looked at her when asking. You can say that. Nero gave a vague answer. Choco was convinced Nero was indeed happy by this answer since it was the first time they were in a dungeon and managed to clear the first floor. Are we going to continue and go to the second floor, or are we done for today? Jana asked. New mission: conquer the second floor of the Rank F dungeon. Why stop now? Conquer the next floor of the Rank F dungeon. Objective: conquer the second floor of the Rank F dungeon. Reward: magic boots, 10 agility, 2 strength and energy. Rank F. Reward: 200 essence coins. Nero was startled by the screen that suddenly appeared in front of her. I'm fine with continuing, said Jair. Whatever, said Breno, but in fact, he wanted to continue too. Let's continue, Nero suggested. If possible, she wanted to continue and try to complete the second mission. Choco looked at Nero, and she nodded. Yes, we will continue. If it gets difficult, we leave. Okay, so let's go. Jair led the way. Arriving at the second floor, everyone spotted many spiders. Seeing as the floor below was only made up of scorpions, this floor probably only had spiders. Furthermore, as far as Nero could see, the lowest level spider was at level 5. We have to be very careful, Jair said. These spiders can throw poison, and we don't have many antidotes to counteract the poison. It wouldn't be good for one of us to die here. Nero and the rest nodded and were certain to be extra cautious as Choco said. Jana, besides Nero, you are the only one who can attack from a distance and you have good control. Attack a spider to draw her attention to us. I was about to do that, Jana said. Holding a wand, she began to conjure a small ball of fire less than 4 centimeters. Shortly thereafter, she launched the fireball at a level 5 spider. I have a question. Nero asked. Choco, is it possible to get magic items when using plunder? Choco did not divert her attention from the battle. She replied without looking at Nero. Yes, it is possible. Did you get a magic item? Yes. Some gloves, Nero said and removes the pair of gloves from her inventory. What appeared before her eyes was a pair of black gloves made of black threads that looked like a net full of holes, with the fingers left entirely exposed. Reference image, https://prntd.sc/rwc05g. Choco, who glanced at them out of the corner of her eye, said, they are beautiful. Chapter 33, N. Nero nodded and she wore the gloves. She could feel the difference just by wearing this pair of gloves. Curious, she opened her status as Nero Diaz, breed, hybrid, class, uneven, subclass, enchantress, rank F, level 1, 15%, 3/20ths monster core rank F level 2, attributes, energy, mana 52.617, strength, hybrid 42.76, interesting. That gave me 5 energy and 2 strength. Nero was happy to see that. She was even more motivated now to finish the new mission that appeared. After all, the more attributes she receives when using equipment, the better it would be for her. While Nero was somewhat distracted looking at her status, a spider came close to them after it became attracted to Jana. Jair moved and appeared in front of the spider and launched a slash from top to bottom with his sword. It was a clean cut that sliced down the head of the spider, dividing the head in two. Green blood dripped from the body. The spider only took a few more steps with its 8 legs, before dropping dead. Indeed, the spider monster up close was very disgusting. 8 legs, 4 on each side, 4 eyes, 2 large and 2 smaller, and 2 cephalothoraxes. This spider was brown in color and completely furry. Just looking closely, it gave the 3 girls strong shivers. Even Jair and Breno couldn't help feeling uneasy about the spider's disgusting appearance. Nero's body hairs stood on end just by seeing this spider up close. But she wouldn't let it shake her. If necessary, she would still touch it and use plunder on it. That's exactly what Jair did. He approached and used his hunter card to plunder the spider. Let's take turns killing one spider at a time. Jana thought it better to do so than to take risks and injure herself unnecessarily. What do you think of handling the next one, Breno? Choco suggested. That's fine. Breno nodded, as everyone agreed with that suggestion. Jana once again conjured up a small fireball and chose the next target. This spider, like the other, had the same appearance and the same level. When Breno got too close, this spider turned out to be smarter and launched an attack in his direction as he ran towards it holding a large spear. Although not as agile as Nero, Choco, or Jair, he was still quick to dodge the poison and then kicked the ground hard and extended his arms, and thus his spear, lunging towards the spider's head. Breno withdrew the spear, and blue blood came out. He did not wait to see if the spider died and attacked again at great speed, causing the tip of the spear to go through the spider's head a second time. When he saw that the spear had completely gone through the spider's head, Breno stopped attacking. Waiting for a while, seeing that the spider was immobile, he approached. Placing his hand on the spider's perforated head, he used plunder. Minutes later, he returned after plundering the spider. Luckily, the other spiders did not approach to attack, since the party neither moved in close nor attacked them. Because of that, it was very easy for Nero's group to clear the floor, despite being slow. Next is your turn, Nero. Jana looked at her and said, okay. Nero nodded. Jana conjured up another fireball and caught the eye of another level 5 spider. Era? Look who we have here. Ha ha ha. A ridiculous laugh suddenly came from behind them. When she heard the sarcastic voice behind her, Nero didn't turn around. She was more concerned with the spider that was coming towards them, and it was her turn to kill. With her bow, Nero created a dark arrow and shot at the spider. Whoosh! Who is this girl? Emily, the girl who arrived with a group of people, laughed with the intention of ridiculing Breno, but was surprised to see Nero. Tsk. What do you want, Emily? Breno clicked his tongue when he saw the red-haired girl who arrived on the second floor of the dungeon. Nero was surprised to hear the way Breno, who was always quiet and discreet, spoke to this woman, but she was still paying attention to the spider, so she couldn't think much about it. How laughable. Nero mused to herself when she noticed the spider thought about jumping to dodge, but would that spider be faster than an arrow shot by her? Swoosh. Even the group of 5 with the red-headed Emily. Who was the leader? Their jaws dropped when they saw a girl with perfect curves and white hair with a few pink strands using an arrow of darkness to attack. You defeated the insect monster, giant spider, rank F. Level 5, very good, Nero thought, pleased with herself. Who was this girl? Emily murmured the same thing as she thought before, but she ended up being ignored, which infuriated her. Nero took a glance at the girl who just murmured. Seeing that her entire group was all stunned on the spot, Nero went to use plunder on the spider, pretending to use her hunter card. Approaching the spider, though in disgust, she put her hand on the spider while holding her hunter card. 2 minutes later, she supposed it was enough to fool everyone. Would you like to plunder the monster plant, giant spider, rank F, level 5, yes. 1, rank F monster core, level 5, has been added to your inventory. 1, Illunium F or medium quality, has been added to your inventory. 68, essence currency, have been added to your inventory. Nero walked over and stood next to Choco and asked while looking at the newcomers, who are they? The HRM. She and Breno were both engaged. Choco sighed, I understand. Nero didn't ask anymore. She realized that she had touched on a sensitive subject that had nothing to do with her. Instead of fueling her curiosity, Nero preferred not to meddle where things were none of his business. What do you want? Breno said nonchalantly to the redhead, didn't you have something to say, Humph? I have nothing to say to a loser like you. Only, I was surprised to see someone as weak as you on the second floor of the dungeon. She scoffed, Emily, don't waste your time with this type of person. Said the messy dark-haired boy, Fabio is right, Emily. He is not worth your time, said a girl with blonde hair and full breasts looking like they were going to explode from her blouse at any moment. It must be ridiculously heavy and uncomfortable to have breasts that size. Nero looked at her own breasts and nodded, satisfied with her size and shape. Ha! That's right. Spit on the plate you once ate from, Jana said with disdain. What do you mean, Jana? Emily became nervous. She gave Jana a meaningful stare as if she didn't want her to say what she knew. Do you really want me to speak? Jana said amusedly, seeing Emily's current expression, which was no different than a thief who was caught in the act. Come on, let's go. I'm not in the mood to hunt today, Emily said hastily. She turned and started to leave. Chapter 34. The group of people who were with her followed her without understanding what was going on. I know how to defend myself, Breno said to Jana. I did it because I wanted to, it wasn't exactly because of you. I just couldn't stand the way she spoke, that's all. As Jana spoke, her voice got quieter, until at the end it sounded like a whisper. Breno remembered that Jana never got along with Emily, so he didn't think much about it, treating Emily and her group as something transient. Jana said, now it's Choco's turn, okay. Choco nodded with a serious look. She stood in an attack position, waiting for Jana to draw the attention of a spider, while they were at it. Nero took advantage of this opportunity where everyone was focused on Choco's fight and took 7 monster cores from her inventory, 5 level 3s and 2 level 2s. The moment the cores appeared in her hand, a message came, absorb the monster core, yes/no, yes. She clicked, you have increased 0.5 energy points, you have increased 1 strength point, you have increased 0.9 energy points. You have increased 0.6 strength points, you have increased 1.3 energy points, you have increased 1.2. Strength points, you have increased 1 energy point, you have increased 1.5 strength points, you have increased 1.7 energy points, you have increased 0.8 strength points, you have increased 0.9 energy points, you have increased 1.6 strength points. You have increased 1.1 energy points, you have increased 1.4 strength points. Progress, Rank F, Level 1, 50%, 10/20ths Monster Core Rank F Level 2. Nero always thought it was a wonderful feeling to increase her power. Streams of energy flowed through her, strengthening her body and energy. She then opened her status as Nero Diaz, Breed, Hybrid, Class, Uneven, Subclass, Enchantress, Rank F, Level 1, 50%, 10/20ths Monster Core Rank F Level 2, Attributes, Energy, Mana 60/17, Strength, Hybrid 50.816, 60 points would be the limit? Nero put her hand on her chin as she thought, in fact, if I absorb 10 more cores of monsters I will be able to level up. Turning her attention to Choco's fight, Nero saw Choco jumping in the air and falling towards the spider like a meteor. Boom! The spider was flattened to the ground by Choco's powerful punch of sheer brute force. A small crater had formed under the spider. Choco's red gauntlet was stained by the spider's blue blood. She propelled herself using her arm and jumped back and fell in front of the spider. Then she took the hunter card and used plunder on the giant spider. Minutes later, Choco returned to Nero's side and the rest. Well, now it's my turn, said Jana. Nero paid more attention to Jana's fight. She wanted to better understand the use of magic attacks. In the beginning, Jana did nothing differently from usual. She threw a small fireball at a level 5 spider, but as soon as she launched the fireball, Jana started conjuring another fireball, though this time it was bigger. As if she were holding a volleyball in her hand, she held onto the large fireball and did not launch it. Instead, she quickly cast a smaller fireball and threw it in the direction of the coming spider. The spider instinctively jumped up and threw poison at Jana. As soon as the spider did this, Jana dodged and threw the big fireball at the spider in the air. Boom! It was as if the spider had been enveloped by red and blue fireworks. When the spider's large body fell to the ground, only the spider's headless body remained. Where the head should have been, there was only fire and blue blood that flowed like a spilled jar of honey dropped on the floor. The same killing pattern continued until Nero's turn came up again. Nero pulled the string of her bow and fixed her eyes on a level 4 spider. Something that caught Choco and the rest's attention was Nero's current appearance while fighting. Long white hair with pink strands, very soft and shiny, fell gently behind her shoulders. Nero's serious gaze was very beautiful to look at. With her eyes the color of solar violet, they brought a sense of beauty and danger at the same time, but it was the kind of danger that anyone would be willing to face. Swoosh! When a dark arrow was shot by Nero, her beautiful hair waved with the movement of her body. Bang! You defeated the insect monster, giant spider, rank F, level 4. It was a sure and fatal shot. The spider didn't even know what hit it when it fell dead on the ground. Choco and the rest were still open-mouthed, not having time to digest their astonishment. It was all very incredible and beautiful at the same time. Was it truly possible to kill elegantly and at the same time remain beautiful? Nero had just shown that it was indeed possible. My control has increased a lot. Nero's lips curved in a beautiful smile. As she didn't look at Choco, Jana, Jair, or Breno. She didn't notice their expression of astonishment. She walked towards the spider and saw a tunnel carved out by her arrow through the spider's carapace. Taking a deep breath, she put her hand in the direction of the spider. Would you like to plunder the insect monster, giant spider, rank F, level 4? Yes. Nero clicked on the screen and a new holographic screen opened. 1. Rank F monster core level 4 has been added to your inventory. 1. Panacea F medium quality has been added to your inventory. 71 essence currency have been added to your inventory. Nero looked at her inventory, and she saw 751 essence currency in her inventory. Jana snapped out of her stupor and said, "Okay, the next one is Choco's, yes." Choco approached. She looked with admiration toward Nero for being able to defeat a spider with just one attack of her bow and arrow. Before throwing a fireball, Jana said, "Nero, why don't you try to get a spider's attention? If you can do that, it will speed up our hunt, right?" Nero agreed. Taking a deep breath, she withdrew an arrow from her inventory. As she would only be drawing attention, it need not be something strong. She pulled back the string from her bow and shot. Swoosh! The arrow of light whistled the moment it was fired like the sound of an object cutting through the wind, even though there was no wind to be found in the dungeon. Being more distant and still not having a very good aim, Nero ended up hitting the four legs on the left side of the spider. In doing so, the spider ended up falling over due to the lack of leg support. Chapter 35. When the spider fell, it bumped into another spider which became furious and began to attack its sibling. Nero, seeing this, felt anger rising in her chest. Creating a dark arrow, her eyes flashed violet, and she shot another arrow in the direction of the spider that attacked the spider that lost its legs. Swoosh! Of course, Nero didn't do this out of pity for the spider, but rather because seeing this reminded her of the unpleasant dreams she had been having, and she was reminded of the wicked sister of the girl Nero. You defeated the insect monster, giant spider, rank F, level 5. Without wasting time, Nero created a dark arrow and launched it at the legless spider. Swoosh! You defeated the insect monster, giant spider, rank F, level 5. That was incredible, Nero. Choco hugged Nero, seeing that she had finished killing 2 spiders so easily. I'm surprised at your aim, Jana said with a smile. Jair pointed out, there are still 2 spiders next to the ones that Nero killed. If Nero wants to plunder them, she will need to draw the attention of those other 2 first. Leave it to me. I'll get their attention and you guys can kill them, said Jana, and she quickly created a fireball in each hand. Boom. Boom. The spiders that were attacked by the fireballs became irritated and ran towards the party with their 8 legs each. The speed of these spiders was not something to be underestimated. At almost 100 centimeters, these spiders could quickly cover great distances. If it were not for the lack of intelligence exhibited by these spiders, it would not have been so easy to kill them. Breno, Jair, and Choco went to intercept the spiders that were approaching, while Jana stayed back to give support. Nero, take this opportunity to use plunder on the spiders you killed, Jana said. Nero nodded and went towards the 2 spider carcasses. Would you like to plunder the insect monster, giant spider, rank F, level 5? Yes, Nero clicked. 1. Rank F monster core, level 5, has been added to your inventory. 1. Illunium F or medium quality, has been added to your inventory. 66 essence currency, have been added to your inventory. Neo then went to the other spider. Would you like to plunder the insect monster, giant spider, rank F, level 5? Yes, Nero clicked. 1. Rank F monster core, level 5, has been added to your inventory. 1. Illunium F or medium quality, has been added to your inventory. 69 essence currency, have been added to your inventory. Now that I have 10 monster cores, I can level up, Nero thought. But since the cores she had were 4 level 5s and 1 level 6, she thought it was better to wait and get some level 4 monster cores, and then she could level up. As time passed, Nero, Choco, Jair, Breno, and Jana continued to exterminate the spiders. Nero, with great concentration, pulled the bowstring, and the sound of the air being cut echoed throughout the room. Swoosh! The arrow shot out at high speed and hit the spider. As there was no alert coming from the system, Nero shot another arrow. Swoosh! Bang! With the sound of arrows cutting the wind, there followed the sound of flesh tearing and blood dripping. You defeated the insect monster, giant spider, rank F, level 6. Ah, this is incredible, Nero. You have impeccable aim. Choco's eyes were set on Nero were pure adoration. She was jumping for joy while clapping loudly. Choco, who couldn't stand her excitement, hugged Nero, pressing her big, soft breasts into Nero's breasts. Soft, Nero recorded secretly in her heart. Perhaps because she was a man before, being hugged so vigorously by Choco didn't cause Nero discomfort. In fact, it was quite pleasant for her. There you go again, hugging Nero, Jana said with a sigh. But it's really good to hug her, Choco pouted when saying. You should try it. No, thank you. Jana rejected Choco's suggestion outright. It wasn't that she thought it would be unpleasant, rather she just didn't want to admit she'd like to hug Nero as well. You smell good, Nero noted to Choco with a smile. Oh. Really? Hearing this, Choco stopped hugging Nero and started to smell herself. My smell is normal, I think. It must be because you are already used to your own smell, Choco, replied Nero. Choco pondered a moment and said, I see, that must be it, HRM. Wouldn't it be best for us to go over there and help them? Nero suddenly asked. Not far away, Breno and Jair were fighting 3 giant spiders. Yes, I'll go now, Choco said and immediately ran at high speed towards the 3 spiders to help Jair and Breno. Nero, as you can easily kill spiders on your own, we don't want to delay your performance. You can continue to kill on your own while we will deal with these, said Jana. She realized that, deep down, this was already what Nero wanted to do, so she suggested it. Yes, Nero smiled. In fact, it was as Jana thought. Nero wanted to fight spiders alone and increase the number of monsters killed. Only then would she be able to level up and finish the second floor of the dungeon. This time, Nero did not want to use her bow, so she kept it in her inventory. Starting with something simpler, she closed her eyes and began to manifest a small ball the size of a tennis ball made of dark mana, seeing a giant spider next to the level 6 spider that she already killed and needing to move the living one away to use plunder on the other one. Nero threw the magic shadow ball at the spider. Whoosh! Boom! Unfortunately for Nero, she missed her mark. In fact, she made a big mistake, seeing as the ball passed about 3 to 4 meters away from the spider. Although she was used to throwing things, she had only done it before with stones, but the size and weight was very different. So the control when throwing the mana ball was different from the feeling she had when throwing a stone. TSK. Nero chastised herself for thinking it would be easy and made a new magic ball out of shadows. In the meantime, the spider noticed danger due to the attack before, and because of this, the giant spider was running furiously towards Nero. Chapter 36. Without thinking twice, Nero threw the magic shadow ball in the direction of the spider. Boom! She missed the target again as the ball landed in front of the spider, which immediately jumped back. Without knowing why, the spider jumped back. Even if her throw had hit the ground, Nero created 2 more balls with dark mana in each hand and flung them in the direction of the spider. Swoosh! Swoosh! This time, Nero managed to throw the ball a little faster, thus producing a sharp wind sound, but still, one of them missed the target. Nero commanded her 2 domesticated monsters to attack as well, when the second ball hit 2 of the giant spider's left front legs. It staggered, its legs looking almost like spaghetti as it collapsed to the ground. The spider that was fumbling around without being able to walk straight, spat out poison in the direction of Luna as she ran towards it, but Luna was quick to dodge and bit the front leg and ripped it out as she pulled. The slime slowly crawled until it was close to the spider, and spit acid in the direction of the spider, hitting the spider's stomach. Nero, seeing that the acid still didn't kill the spider, threw another dark mana ball in the spider's direction. You defeated the insect monster, giant spider, rank F, level 5. Phew, Nero let out a long breath. This was more complicated than the other times. Unlike when she used a bow, the ball created through dark mana was not as easy to control as she thought it would be. Approaching the spider she just killed, she put her hand on the spider that had a big wound on its back. Would you like to plunder the insect monster, giant spider, rank F, level 5? Yes. 1. Rank F monster core, level 5, has been added to your inventory. 1. Panacea F medium quality, has been added to your inventory. 63. Essence currency, have been added to your inventory. Panacea, this is good. Nero thought. She has already looked at the information for this item, and she knew that it could cure the following abnormal statuses: blindness, curse, and poisoning. Jana, who saw that Nero had already finished killing another spider alone, smiled. She realized it was the right decision to have Nero fight by herself since the rest of them hadn't finished fighting the other 3 spiders yet. Although one of those spiders was at level 6, that was no excuse. When Nero approached the level 6 spider she had killed earlier, she put her hand on top of this spider as well and used plunder. Would you like to plunder the insect monster, giant spider, rank F, level 6? Yes. 1. Rank F monster core, level 6, has been added to your inventory. 1. Panacea F medium quality, has been added to your inventory. 109. Essence currency, have been added to your inventory. Oh. My luck is not so bad, she thought when she saw that she again got Panacea. They killed their 3 spiders. Not far from her, Nero realized that Jana, Jair, and Breno were using plunder on 3 spiders. Choco looked in the direction of Nero, who was alone. She clenched her fists and a determination to strengthen shone in her beautiful eyes. Now only monsters of level 5 or more are appearing. There is no point waiting, I will level up now. With that in mind, Nero waited for Choco, Jana, Jair, and Breno to start attacking. When this happened, she first removed the 5 level 4 monster cores from her inventory, absorbed the monster core. Yes/no, yes, she said mentally. You have increased 3.5 strength points, you have increased 3.5 strength points, you have increased 2.2 strength points. Notice, error. Maximum permitted points of strength and energy achieved, error solution found, extra points, 8.1 points from extra points, progress, rank F, level 1, 75%. 15/20 monster core rank F level 2, she closed her eyes and felt the power within her body increase. With increased strength, she could feel all the tiredness she had leaving her. Okay, now that I know that the points I was supposed to gain from attributes have turned into extra points, I'll be able to level up now. Nero made her decision as she picked up another 5 level 5 monster cores. You have increased 4.7 extra points, you have increased 4.8 extra points, you have increased 4.8 extra points, you have increased 4.9 extra points, you have increased 4.6 extra points, congratulations! You have moved up to level 2, you have increased 5 energy points, you have increased 5 strength points, ability tame monster rose to level 2, enchantress unlocked a new ability, obscure vibration, level 1, progress, rank F, level 2, 0%, 050 monster core rank F level 3, Nero sat on the floor with her legs crossed, trying to digest everything that had changed in her body. When Choco, Jana, Jair, and Breno looked at her moments later, they just thought that she was meditating to recover her mana. She seems to be recovering her spent mana. We will continue to kill in the meantime, said Jair. HRM, that's right. If it continues like this, we will not be able to keep pace with her. We need to try harder. Breno, who usually spoke little, said an entire sentence in a firm tone. Choco and Jana nodded in agreement. Although they said this, they were not fools and didn't plan to recklessly attack groups of spiders. They only increased the number of spiders they would attack at a time by 1. Of course, this still made a large difference. Very quickly, Jana threw 4 separate fireballs at a group of 4 level 5 spiders. Jair, Breno and Choco were already waiting for this and advanced to attack the spiders while Jana supported them. Jair slashed with his sword, while Breno used his spear to break the spider's 2 legs. Choco used her great speed, taking advantage of the spider's being stunned, and attacked its head, killing it by crushing the spider's head with a punch. Boom! A spear of fire in the shape of a drill hit the spider that was about to attack Choco from behind, while Breno and Jair intercepted the other spider. The spider that was hit by the flame drill raised its front legs and tried to attack Choco with them. However, Choco, with great speed, reached below the spider, crouched down, and then immediately shot up with a punch from the bottom up. Roriugi, dip, pow. In the air, the spider began to spin. Breno, who saw this, kicked off the ground and attacked with his spear towards the sky against a spider. Cut. The sound of the spider's skin tearing was heard and blue blood flowed from the wound. Breno made a gesture of hammering and the tip of his spear caught the spider and slammed it into the ground. Boom! Crushed on the ground, the spider squirmed a little before it stopped moving. Chapter 37. With only 2 spiders left, Breno went to help Jair while Choco intercepted the spider that was running towards Jana. Choco jumped high in the air and appeared in front of the spider. When the spider spit venom in Choco's direction, she easily dodged and reached the side of the spider, throwing a punch with her big red gauntlet at the spider's front leg. Pang! Jana had already conjured a fire arrow and launched it at the spider when she lost her balance. Boom! A large hole was formed in the back of the spider when she hit it and the spider stopped moving as blue blood pooled around its body. Breno and Jair had by this time killed the other spider as well. Choco and her group let out a tired sigh. But they were all satisfied with the result. That was when Choco looked in Jana's direction and her eyes widened when looking at Nero. She cried out in disbelief, "My God! What happened to her?" Nero opened her eyes when she heard Choco's voice and saw that she was looking back at her in a daze. In addition, there was something red running down Choco's nose. Is that blood? Before she could ask Choco if she was okay, a retching came, and she was unable to hold it. And that was when she started vomiting a dark, smelly goo. It looked like she had turned into an octopus by spitting out black paint, but the reality was that it was impurity that came to form in her body for all these years. However, when she went up to level 2, her body improved, getting rid of her body's impurity a little. Soon after, Nero put her hand over her mouth when she noticed a horrible taste. But then she was surprised. "Why is it so nice to touch my skin?" She looked at her hand, frowning. It appeared as a feast for Choco's eyes and the rest since that gesture was cute rather than imposing. Cough. Cough, giving some harsh coughs. Nero looked again in the direction of Choco, Jana, Jair, and Breno, but her expression turned strange when she said, "Choco, blood is coming out of your nose." Choco came to herself when she heard Nero's voice and blushed sheepishly. She put her hand on her nose and saw that it was actually bleeding. "But I didn't even get hurt." She didn't understand. Seeing Nero get up from the floor and clean the black trail from the corner of her beautiful and perfectly pink lips, Choco feigned a cough and took a deep breath, trying to calm her racing heart, saying, "It was nothing big." Changing the subject, "Nero, why are you suddenly so beautiful?" Jair and Breno looked away. They were also stunned by Nero's current appearance. Jana tried to remain indifferent, she didn't swing that way after all, but she had to admit that Nero's current appearance left her frankly attracted. An untouchable white skin with an indescribably beautiful pair of eyes. Nero's eyes blinked and opened, showing a pair of beautiful purple-violet solar irises. It was as if she could see through their bodies and steal their hearts. Jana couldn't even keep her eyes on Nero for more than 2 seconds before her face turned flush. While Choco got lost in Nero's eyes and worshipped her beauty, she ran out of breath just because she was being watched by Nero. Nero's eyes became 2 crescent moons as her lips curved in a perfect arc, forming a smile. "Do I look more beautiful, or something?" She ended up chuckling, not understanding why they were acting so weird. What Nero did not notice was that when she laughed, she only made the situation worse because a noble aura of a goddess exploded from her being and permeated the area, making them want to bow down in adoration. Her long pink-white hair was even softer and shinier, and it swayed in the slight wind that blew through the dungeon. Because of this, strands of her hair were in front of her left eye. Nero took her hand to brush it aside, which made Choco dry swallow when she saw Nero's above-average and perfect breast sway with her hand movement. Choco blew out another long breath and took a handkerchief from her pocket and wiped the blood off her nose. She nodded. "Yes, you do." Jana walked over to where Nero and Choco were, Breno and Jair too, but they avoided looking at Nero. Their hearts were still agitated when they saw Nero's face, which made her look more like a goddess who did not belong to this mundane world. Do you not like it?" Nero asked instead of answering. "I like it. I mean, it is beautiful, very charming." "Oh, don't change the subject." She looked away when she realized what she had just said, and pouted. Although she liked to provoke Choco like this, Nero decided to tell her the truth. "I received an item drop that improved my physique and ended up using it." "It must be because of that, seriously?" Choco seemed convinced by that answer and said, "That must have been a very good item, and to think that you managed to get such a good drop in a low-level dungeon, I was lucky." Nero smiled. "Well, are we going to continue cleaning the dungeon?" Jana asked. She also believed what Nero said. Since although rare, there were miraculous items that helped to improve physique and appearance, although they were usually dropped in higher difficulty dungeons. For the next few hours, Nero, Choco, Jana, Jair, and Breno continued hunting the spiders on the second floor. As before, Nero was dealing with spiders alone with Luna and Slime. The good thing about Luna was that she had very good instincts, and over time, she was able to fight a level 5 spider without Nero's help. When it came to Slime, without Nero's command it remained motionless, since the intelligence of this thing was low. When they finished killing the last group of spiders, Choco and the rest were dripping sweat. Even Nero was no different. She killed many spiders, now having 15 levels 5 cores and 26 levels 4 cores. Mission complete. Magic boots, 10 agility, 2 strength and energy, rank F added to the inventory. 200 essence coins have been added to the inventory. Oh. Nero opened her inventory and took out the pair of boots. She was wearing a pair of shoes that she borrowed from Choco. She took off her shoes and instead wore the black leather boots. Chapter 38. When she put on the pair of boots, her energy and strength increased, especially her speed. Looking at Choco and the others, Nero asked, "Are we going back now?" "Yes, we better do that." Agreeing, Jana said, "We killed many monsters and acquired a good number of monster cores. If we use them, we'll level up and it'll be easier for us to come back and explore the third floor of the dungeon." None of them objected, so they started down the stairs on the second floor of the dungeon, heading towards the first floor. As they walked, they already reached the exit of the dungeon. Who is this girl? Is she new in town? She is beautiful. The guard at the entrance to the dungeon thought. He was not the guard who was stationed there in the morning. After all, it was already night and the other guard changed his shift. "Good night. Be careful on the way back." The dungeon guard tried to act as professionally as possible. Good night. Choco and her group nodded as they passed the guard. The sky was pitch black, even darker than it was inside the dungeon. The cold night wind made Choco shiver slightly. Seeing this, Nero took off her overcoat and placed it over Choco's shoulders. "Choco, you are shaking." After a moment of silence, Choco smiled sheepishly. "Thank you." While Nero and her group walked through the city streets, onlookers commented, "Wow! Oh my! What a beautiful girl, what a body, an angel! No! She is a goddess, ugh, you bastard, look ahead! Didn't you see me here, am I to blame? Look over there, what's there? Hey, your nose is bleeding. North of the Nan Empire Fisheries Island Dash. It's been a few days since Elaine discovered that her sister managed to escape the laboratory. Elaine threw the document in her hands on the table, a cold sparkle in her eyes. A long time had passed. Her sister Nero disappeared into thin air and did not appear again. At her command, Elaine dispatched her best marine hunters to investigate secretly, but she had no idea where the Cretan might be now, despite looking for days. That afternoon, Elaine received information. Nan Empire, you say? With a cruel and sinister look in her eyes, Eliana got up and went to the window. According to the information, it was said that someone similar to Nera's descriptions was seen in a city called Esfin in the Nan Empire. No matter what, she had to send someone to investigate first, as she finally managed to get a valuable clue. Nara, this time, you need to disappear forever. Looking south, Elaine said cruelly in her mind. Arriving at Choco's house, the two girls were greeted with a warm hug from Choco's mother. Latifa, welcome back. Latifa said with a welcoming smile. I was very worried, Mom. You're overreacting. Choco said sheepishly. She looked at Nero and realized she was kindly smiling over how cute Latifa's concern was, which reassured her a little. Nero, are we going to shower together? Choco asked. Nero thought for a moment and nodded. Yes. Entering the bathroom, the two girls were still a little shy. Nero had never been so close to anyone before coming here. Choco was nervous for different reasons. The two were soon naked. Choco couldn't help but sigh in amazement. Nero's beauty had increased even more. Now naked, she felt like she was doing something she shouldn't be doing. Taking a few deep breaths, Choco asked, Can I wash your back, Nero? Yes. Nero nodded. Nero sat on a bench and Choco went behind her with a towel full of liquid soap. I will wash your wings too, okay. Nero nodded without turning around. This was when Choco began to gently rub every corner of Nero's beautiful wings. Then she started rubbing Nero's back. Finally, Nero said, Okay, now it's my turn to wash your back, in. Choco nodded and sat on the bench instead of Nero. Shortly after the two girls finished removing the foam from their bodies, Choco and Nero went to the bathtub, which was the size of a swimming pool large enough to accommodate 10 adults. After finishing their bath, the two girls left the bathroom with a slight blush but with smiles formed on their lips. When she arrived in her room, Nero was at odds over whether or not to sleep. She lay on the bed, staring at the chandelier on the ceiling. Number 0, the doctor demands your presence. Nara, who heard the voice, recognized it instantly. It was the voice of the robust man with horns that she called Devil. Nara got up from the bed and went out the door. She then started walking along with Devil. The whole way to the doctor's office, it was deadly silence. Devil never spoke to her more than necessary. Nara had gotten used to it, so she didn't care. They entered the room where the doctor was waiting for her. Devil stood outside, waiting for everything to be done, so that he could take her back. In addition to some questions about her physical condition and if there had been any effects from the pills she received that week, the doctor took some blood samples before calling the guard again. As they were returning to her cell, Nara saw that sweat was running down Devil's forehead. Although she found it strange, she didn't think much about it. It wasn't like knowing why he was sweating was of any interest to her. The doctor himself did not see this. He was more interested in seeing the data that was written in the notebook in his hands. Even the guards for this place the doctor treated with indifference. It seemed that the only thing that mattered to him was his research and himself. After returning and entering the room, Nara went to sit on the bed, but her eyes widened when she saw a few things which were familiar and another which was not. A pile of monster nuclei were placed on her mattress and next to them was a card slightly larger than the palm of an adult's hand. What are these for? Nara wondered, how did these things get here? She walked over to the card and took it with her left hand. The moment she held it in her hand, the card flashed and a red light began to scan her body. Her first thought was to throw the card away, but in the end she chose to wait. Install, Hunter card, yes/no? Chapter 39, Nara almost said no, afraid to hurt herself. After all, she didn't understand what it was. But despite her fears, reluctantly, she said yes in her mind. In doing so, she felt a very strong headache. She held her head in both hands as she moaned in pain. It was an agonizing pain that would make any normal person not think twice and kill themselves to end their suffering. However, Nero was anything but normal. She had gone through many experiences, constantly suffering from pain because of it. Often she had wished for her own death. She could only endure this torment because she still hoped that she could one day escape and return to her family. She continued to feel a lot of pain in her head that eventually forced her to pass out. The next morning, Nero woke up face down on the bed next to the monster nuclei. As soon as she opened her eyes, she saw something that baffled her. A window like an open but transparent book was floating in front of her face. She got up and the window followed her movements. It was very strange. Luckily, she had learned to read with her older sister Elsa, so she started to read what was printed on the window that looked much like an open page from a book to her. You installed the Hunter card, prototype, option to use inventory, accessible, option to view your status, accessible, option to loot monsters, blocked. Nero looked at the image with a confused expression. Her two eyebrows were scrunched together, expressing her confusion. She had never seen or heard of anything like this before. Why was this item in my room? Is this also some kind of test I'm being tested over? Nero was lost in confusion. The more she tried to think about it, the more confused she became about it. Prototype? What does that mean? Nero wondered, not knowing the word which she had never heard of before, but more important to her now was to know what those functions were. She didn't know what the inventory thing was, but she had some idea what the status might be. Concerning the option that was blocked, she didn't give it much thought. As soon as she thought of inventory and status, two translucent windows appeared in front of her. One window was dominated by large empty spaces full of icons. There were 6 spaces going down and 10 across, for a total of 60 icon slots. There was also what looked like a coin counter in the lower left corner. In the other window was a panel which showed something telling her status-related information: Nero, human race, current class, none, classification F, level 0, 1%, attributes, energy, mana 0.12, strength, human 0.58. Nero, although confused, tried to remain calm and comprehend everything that was happening. A few seconds later, she started to pant and the status and inventory window started to shake and close. Feeling very tired, she laid down on the bed. That made me very tired. Do I waste my energy if I leave these windows open? Although she was curious and doubtful about it, she could do not but test and find out for herself. Noticing how tired she had become, Nero started to feel her eyes become heavy, but before she fell asleep completely, she did not forget to hide the monster's nuclei under the bed. The next morning, Nero was sitting on the bed with a monster core in her hands. While she meditated, she remembered seeing her older sister Elsa did this. Because of that, it was not difficult for her to imagine that it would help her to turn on the multicolored lights. Unknown to her, Nero had been meditating for a long time. In her hands, the core of the monster fell apart, as the energy contained in it was completely absorbed by her. It's the same feeling that I feel when I'm very tired and finally get a glass of water to get rid of all the tiredness, but it's even more intense. Nero felt immersed in the sensation. She didn't expect it to feel so good meditating using a monster core. Usually, when she did this, she felt very tired, but now she was feeling refreshed and full of energy. Nero, human race, current class, none, classification F, level 0, attributes, energy, mana 0.22, strength, human 0.68. With just one monster core, I made 10 multicolored lights form. It seems that each light is equal to 0. 0.1 energy and strength. Nero calculated as she examined her status. There were still 9 other monster cores, each the size of a tear. She knew that these would help her a lot with sorting the colors, although it would take a long time for her to absorb them. It is better to wait until I get some food and then I can go back to meditation. With that in mind, Nero went to the bathroom to shower to get rid of the sweat from her body. A commotion was caused in the laboratory. Someone had stolen a prototype from the chief scientist in the lab. In addition, it was something the scientist had created by luck. He was still analyzing how he had managed to create it, but someone had the courage to steal it from under his nose. I want the one who stole it dead. The man in a white coat said aloud, so furious that he even spit while shouting. It was like he could eat someone alive. He was so angry. Upon leaving the bath, Nero went back to her bed. She was waiting for the guard to be able to bring her food. Then she could go back to meditating, but hour after hour passed, and nobody came to bring her food. Nero thought this was strange since it never happened before, Are you guys having a problem? Hope so. If possible, she hoped that someone would discover the place and destroy and kill all these villains. But that was just her wish, which she knew would not be easily accomplished. Nero, with her small frame, let out a long breath. It wasn't like she was very hungry. Because of that, she didn't really care if they were going to bring her food now or not, but there was one thing she was sure of: something happened. Although she didn't know what it was, she hoped those bastards were having a hard time. Yawning, she murmured, I'm getting sleepy, I'm going to sleep. Apparently, they won't come today. Chapter 40, the next morning dash, number 0. A guard came into the room and called her, MM? Waking up sleepily, Nero looks at the guard with her eyes half open. The one who woke her up this time was a tall, muscular man. His red eyes looked at Nero without expression, but Nero could have sworn she saw a glint of pity in his eyes. Hurry up, he said, Dr. Ace 10 is wanting to see you. Nero's face went white with fear. If there was anyone she was afraid of, it was Ace 10. Shaking a little from trepidation, she started to get ready very quickly. The guard understood her terror, since the scientist who did the worst and riskiest experiments was most definitely Ace 10. Nero could not suppress the fear she was feeling as she followed the guard out the bedroom door. The more they walked, the more afraid she was. Hurry up, if you don't want me to drag you. The guard shouted when he saw that Nero slowed her steps. Nero bit her bottom lip and started walking faster. When they arrived in front of Dr. Asen's door, Nero's heart was racing. She knew that being called here was not good news. In addition, she was even more scared because of the possible reason they hadn't given her food yesterday. The guard opened the door and said, Dr. Ace 10, I brought number 0, right, send her in. A sinister voice came from inside the room. Nero was dragged in by the guard. She could barely contain her fear. Looking at the tall, thin man almost 2 meters tall, hunched a little forward, it was as if she was seeing the devil himself in person, but soon her fear was replaced by anger. It was this doctor who was the last to call her friend Yui. Inside the room, something made her tremble with anger and hatred, a hatred so great that her shoulders began to shake uncontrollably. Hanging in a corner of the room, there were a pair of beautiful snow-white wings. In addition, she noticed her friend without her wings inside a large pot filled with transparent liquid and with cables connected to her. Nero imagined that Yui might still be alive, yet, was it really good that she was still alive in this state? Without Nero realizing it, hot tears began to stream from her eyes. She couldn't imagine the pain her friend felt when they removed her wings and left her in that state. Yui. Yui. Yui, she tried to get closer but was stopped by the guard. How could you? How can there be such inhuman beings? She sobbed loudly in anguish. Why are these people no? Why can these demons do this and get away with it? The stories I heard that good always wins over evil, was it all a lie? Nero couldn't even complete what was going on in her mind when she dropped to her knees on the floor. Why are you causing so much drama? Dr. Ace 10 snorted. He then said angrily with eyes full of ferocity as he scoffed, Don't think you will gain any empathy on my part. You are just another guinea pig for my experiments. Don't think you have any other value than that. He laughed ominously. You are just a lab rat. You will live and die here, you bastard. Nero cried out through her tears, You are a monster, ha ha ha. Rather than being offended, an evil laugh echoed in the room as Ace 10 laughed out loud as if there was no tomorrow. After he stopped laughing, Ace 10 looked at the guard who was still in the room, his eyes showing no humanity as he ordered, Guard, lock her in this chair, yes. The guard nodded in fear. He approached Nero who was kneeling on the floor. Taking her by force, he dragged her to the chair, not worrying about the screams of Nero who refused to obey. Stuck in a chair with her feet and hands tied, Nero looked at Ace 10 as if she could eat him alive. The right corner of her nose was shaking like an angry dog, looking at Ace 10 full of hatred. Why? Why did I have to go through all of this? If there is a God, I will pay it forward. Please just help me. She pleaded to heaven. It was all her sister's fault that she had gone through all of this. Her sister, although she said Nero was found from the sea, was still her sister, and yet she had sold Nero to these psychopaths. Ace 10 took out a briefcase without taking a second look at Nero. He put the folder on a table and opened it. Inside were a syringe and a small glass vial with red blood that appeared to be moving as if it had a will of its own. He took the syringe and then drew the blood out of the small vial. Turning back to Nara, he had a cruel smile that would make anyone tremble with fear. Nara, seeing his smile, knew that she probably wouldn't be able to survive this time. Her emotions rained down like a storm, her shoulders started to shake when the tears fell like rain, threatening to drown her inside. The sadness and loneliness that dried up in her veins had like a cold, endless river. Why did my sister do this to me? Why didn't I doubt her when she told me to hide on the boat? Why did I have to be deceived by my own sister and sold to these evil beings? Why? Why? Seeing Nara's desperation, Asen's laugh got even more out of control. He loved to see people become desperate. It was as if that was the true meaning of his life, having people desperate because of his research. When Ace 10 stopped laughing, he started to say, "You were lucky, number 0. You will be honored to receive the cells of a rare animal. I don't even know what kind of animal it is, but did you notice the glow and how intimidating this blood is?" He laughed. Of course, if you can survive, it would be a totally different story. Without waiting for an answer, Ace 10 injected blood into the vein of Nara's left arm. At first, nothing happened, but after a few seconds, she started to turn totally blood red, and she started screaming desperately. The pain she was feeling was so strong that it didn't even give her the chance to pass out. Because, the moment she passed out, Nara woke up from the pain again, her skin started to tear and her blood burst like a soap bubble. The sound of her blood bursting resonated in her mind, tormenting her, intensifying her pain. Pop, 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 her blood bubbled and burst, bubbled and burst, bubbled and burst. Her body was already drenched in her own blood. Her veins were visible to the naked eye. Blood came out of her eyes, nose, mouth, and ears. She wanted to continue screaming, but she had no voice. Even the guard, who saw many scary and disgusting things, couldn't help it and threw up.